Good afternoon.
No.
I'd like to call to order the first meeting of the year for 2024 of the HABD Board of Commissioners for our January meeting. I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year. A little late now, but better late than never. And hope everybody has been staying warm and safe in all the weather continuing through the weekend. First, I guess we'll start with a roll call. So we'll start with Commissioner Barnes.
Present.
Commissioner Hood.
Present.
Vice Chairman Thompson.
Present.
And Chairman Pantazis is present. So we have a quorum, I believe, which will then move to the adoption of the agenda. So I know the agenda was circulated in advance. I hope everybody's had a chance to review it. Having done so, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as printed.
Motion to adopt. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is passed. And we didn't have any additions or revisions to the agenda, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. So per our bylaws, I believe we're tasked with electing our officers for this upcoming year to get things started. And I think the way we normally do this, if correct me if I'm wrong, counsel, but I think we entertain nominations for first the chairman and then the vice chairman. Well, first we'll take nominations, close nominations, and then move forward with a vote as to the nominees for each position. Does that sound correct to you?
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay. So we'll start with opening up nominations for chairman for the 2024 year.
I would like to nominate Chairman Pantazis to be chairman again for the 2024 year.
I second.
That was fast.
Since it was so fast, I will accept the nomination. Any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion that we close nominations.
Second.
All right. Well, I guess we formally need to, we'll close the nominations and formally vote on the position for chairman. And I'm the only nominee, so I will entertain a motion to
I think it's a motion on the table.
motion on
is
the
a motion
table.
on the
Okay,
table, yeah.
all right. So
We need to vote on it.
let's vote on it. For chairman, for me.
Right, for DG.
Yeah.
Okay.
So awkward.
Chairman. for the-
All in favor say aye. Do you want to do?
Yes, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right. Thank you all for the nomination support, and I look forward to continuing with a lot of the work we've been doing this year and last year, and seeing some of our initiatives through and working with this awesome board and our staff and our CEO to make all of our progress really come true this year. So let's keep up the hard work.
We
Thank you.
appreciate
We
you as
appreciate
well.
you.
Appreciate y'all. All right, moving on to vice chairman. I'll open up nominations and start with a nomination of Commissioner Thompson for vice chair.
I second that.
Any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion that we close nominations.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nominations are closed, and I guess now we can entertain a motion to elect Commissioner Thompson as the vice chair. Is there a motion?
I offer a motion that we elect Commissioner Dewana Thompson to continue as vice chair for the 2024 year.
I second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, Vice Chairman Thompson. Thanks for all your great work, and I look forward to working with you further and having a good year.
Thank you. I'm excited to lead in this capacity and to support your leadership. Continue.
All right. I think that concludes our election of officers. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the consent agenda. Again, the agenda and the consent agenda have been circulated prior to the meeting to all commissioners. Having had time to review the consent agenda, are there any items that the commissioners would like to remove from the consent agenda before we vote to approve it? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes. Next up, old business. Any old business? Hearing none, move on to new business. Any new business? It's a new year. We got any new business?
Well, I do have maybe about 2 items I'd like to share.
Okay.
I want to first say Happy New Year to everyone. And congratulations to the chair and vice chair for your nominations. Thank you for your support and of course the entire board support you provided us this past year and the year to come. So thank you so very much. There are 2 items I would like to share. One is an award that we received on November 28th, and that is an award of $2.1 million for our choice housing choice voucher Section 8 program. And these funds will support our HAB's expansion of housing choice for approximately 530 of our housing choice voucher families. And will provide services as increased access to opportunity in our neighborhoods with high performing schools, job opportunities, low crime rates, parks, and other amenities that we provide to our residents. So we're very excited about this award. We had our kickoff meeting, and so anticipate the funds coming forward in the month of January. The other item I have on my report I want to share, we had an outstanding hire in December, and that is Dr. Josephine Banks. I asked her to come forward as I share some background information about her. She is currently serves as our Chief Human Resource Officer, and prior to this role, she served as Executive Director for Talent Acquisition and Counseling Service at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Dr. Banks has over 24 years of experience in human resources and over 12 years in counseling and family support services. Her team comprised of 40 staff members during her tenure at UAB. Dr. Banks received her BS in Industrial Engineering from the University of Alabama at Tuscaloosa and her MA in Community Counseling and PhD in Community Health Promotion from UAB. She is a licensed professional counselor, national certified counselor, and board certified coach. I want to make sure we address all of those licenses, okay? So Dr. Banks also serves as an adjunct instructor for the UAB School of Education, Community Health and Services. And I just want to say, since Dr. Banks has been aboard, she has been working very hard. We have to put her out sometimes because she's working so hard. So put in many hours to ensure that we're moving in the direction we need to move to support our human resource staff and the agency. So welcome aboard, Dr. Banks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have for new business.
All right, commissioners, any other new business you want to discuss? All right, we'll have to come up with some new business for February then.
Right.
All right, I think the next item then, hearing no further new business is, we have an earlier executive session, this time, which council, I believe are we okay to move into executive session? for
We're
good reason?
okay to move into executive session pursuant to section 3625A 7A6 of the Alabama Code.
Ms. Foster, how long approximately do you think we need?
We anticipate about 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Okay, so let's maybe have a motion to enter into executive session for no longer than an hour and a half. Does that sound good?
It works.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I think we got to do a roll call vote. So Commissioner Barnes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hood?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Thompson?
Yes.
I vote yes, all in favor. So I think we can move into it. And for those listening on Zoom or in the audience, obviously there are other agenda items afterwards that require voting approvals as well as presentations by those that desire to speak. So to the extent anybody wants to come back after the hour and a half, we will keep moving forward with those items. But as of now, I think we are proper to move into executive session.
Yes.
All right, having wrapped up the executive session, I think we can now entertain a motion to exit the executive session. So I will entertain a motion to do so.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll do a roll call vote on that as well. So Commissioner Hood,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Thompson,
Yes.
I vote yes as well. So we are now out of executive session. To continue the agenda as printed, we'll move to property operations, the approval of the award of contract for roof replacement at Morel Todd Homes.
Larry Williams, Chief of Housing Operations.
Good afternoon again.
Afternoon.
The purpose of this request is to obtain approval to proceed with the recommended contractor to replace the roof for Morel Todd Community Center due to normal wear and tear. An invitation for bid was published to secure contractors to provide roof replacement at Morel Todd Homes. The IFB was posted an email to 33 companies and 34 individuals. In addition, it was available at the HABD central office as well as HABD website and the Housing Agency Marketplace website. Lastly, the solicitation was advertised in Birmingham News and Birmingham Times. Two contractors submitted bids in response to the IFB. One was non-responsive. Both there was three total, and one was non-responsive. Both responsible bidders was reviewed, resulting in Teca America Southeast LLC submitting the lowest responsive bid. Therefore, we recommend awarding the contract to Teca America Southeast LLC for a total of $112,735. The source of funds is capital funds. The funds should not exceed $112,735. The total square footage was about 8,800, which was approximately $13 per square footage. I recommend your approval. Or any questions?
Commissioners, any questions?
Move to approve the award of the contract for roof replacement at Morel Todd Homes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next up is the rental assistance programs. Two items, the approval of award of contract for employment and income verification services and the approval of award of contracts for housing choice voucher consulting services.
Seth Enbridge, Chief of Policy.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
So the first board action I have for you today is for employment income verification services in both public housing and the housing choice voucher program. HUD requires all housing authorities to have a third-party verification of employment and other income that a family reports. So these are income-based programs, and so we have to have third-party verification, which means somebody comes in, they work for, I don't know, Chick-fil-A, they bring their pay stubs, we have their pay stubs, but we have to get Chick-fil-A also to verify that this information is actually correct. So we can either do that, which we do manually now through a letter to Chick-fil-A saying, hey, please, verify that this is correct. Alternatively, and what we're proposing today is that we have a service that can do that online through a technology through our system of record, which is Yardi, to do it instantaneously. So we issued this RFP on August 29, 2023. Again, Housing Agency Marketplace, just like Mr. Williams talked about. There were 22 reported viewers on Housing Agency Marketplace, and we received 3 response proposals. A committee of HABD staff reviewed those proposals and selected Online Rental Exchange. They specialize in developing and providing tenant screening and collection services for property management. They have a customer base of about 4,000 rental companies, including over 100 here in Alabama. They've been in business for more than 30 years and are based in North Carolina. They pull their information from the Work Number, which is a service that Equifax owns, one of the kind of big credit reporting agencies. They get 2.9 million annual records of wage information. And so they access that. Online Rental Exchange will access that for us for each of the verifications that we have to do. I'm sorry, I guess we don't have the thing. Okay, great. I apologize for that. So moving right along, I want to talk about the funding source. So we estimated when we did the RFP that there would be a little bit more than 4,000 verifications annually for public housing and 5,000 for the HCV program. And their bid was about $23.90 per verification. And so the programs, public housing, the operating subsidy, we talked about that earlier, will pay for their own verifications, and out of the administrative fee for the voucher program, they would pay for their verifications. Are there any questions about the service or the contract?
Commissioners, any questions or thoughts? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the award of contract for employment income verification services to the online rental exchange.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, and so my final board action this afternoon is for consulting services for the HCV program. We have a large HCV program here, over 6,000 vouchers and growing. We got an award actually this month for another 20, I think 5 or 28 VASH vouchers, which we'll get later, but it's just a notice that HUD wanted to give those to us. Anyway, I said to say that the program is actually growing, and then plus as we do our public housing conversions, those will all come also into the Housing Choice Voucher program. So it's a very large program. It's very technical. It's very complex, and optimization of program operations requires advanced skills, both in leadership, but also well-trained staff. And then a lot of times we do need some technical support, and sometimes we lean on outside consultants. HUB provides some technical support as well that's free to us. But using consultants is a way to acquire some of that technical support that we need from time to time. So the purpose of this board action is to request approval for the president and CEO to execute contracts for HCV consulting services. The services are necessary to provide support to the department in 4 areas. We structured this RFP to enable firms with the most expertise in the areas that we may need services to respond to those. There's planning and analysis, management and administration, new initiatives and program development, and training. And in the both in the form that you have in front of you and on the screen, we have details of each of those sections of services that consultants may provide to us. Something to note, and you can continue going, Mr. Clausel, is for this procurement action, we used the indefinite quantity, indefinite delivery, indefinitely quantity procurement method, which means what we're really doing is putting the selected firms under almost a retainer, so that if services are needed over the course of the contract, we can engage them without having to do procurement later, which means that if I need services now, if I need training, or if I need some kind of management assistance, it's like June 1 and I don't know until May, I don't have to go through a 45 or 60-day procurement process to get those services, because we already have a firm under contract to provide those. We did issue an RFP on December 5th for these services. Again, the RFP was published on the Housing Agency Marketplace and on our website and in local media. 43 viewers were on the Housing Agency Marketplace. Again, a selection committee of HABD staff evaluated the proposals and are recommending the contractors that are outlined here. Section A Associates for planning and analysis, Quadell Consulting and Training, and for management and administration with AMA Consulting as an alternate, Bronner Group for new initiative and program development, and Quadell Consulting and training for training. The other thing I want to point out is that when we look at these services that we're going to engage, our priorities are, 1, about regulatory compliance, so making sure that we meet all of our HUD benchmarks for our reporting, for our inspections, and things like that. So getting support as needed to make sure that we meet those when we do our assessment at the end of the fiscal year, but also to support and enhance the staff that we have. So training is going to be a big focus that we're going to be doing over the next several months. We have a lot of staff that started in the past year that need certification trainings, in addition to a lot of staff that we'll be bringing on in the next probably 30 to 60 days who also need to be trained to do cross-training, to do onboarding, so that our staff is competent, that they're confident to do their work, and that we're able to have increases in performance, but also customer service with the level of qualification of our staff. Lastly, we'll talk about economic impact and funding source. Again, this is with HCV administrative fees, and we estimated that at a maximum over 2 years for all the services, the cost could be up to $450,000. Management and administration and training will be the highest cost items as we reduce backlogs. We have some processing backlogs that we want to address in the next probably 30 or 45 days. That would be our optimal target to do that. And again, I talked about training, and we want to develop customized training and training courses for the staff. And so it'll be a little bit higher cost than we have expended, but it will give us the in-house products to continue to do the training in-house. So we won't have these won't be long-term costs for the program. Any questions?
Commissioners, any? Sounds good. Anything else?
Chairman, I'll offer a motion to approve this award.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, last up is real estate development. And we've got 4 items. I'm not going to read them all. I'll let you.
Items. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
So we have 3 items for you today. The first one is approval for a request to obtain approval to submit a demolition application to HUD, Special Assistant Application Center to demolish 8 units at Kimbrough Homes. Several years ago, probably 19 or 20 or 21, there was fire of an entire string, 8 units at Kimbrough Homes. It was reviewed by our architect and assessed that they were uninhabitable and unrepairable. The cost was way more than we could recoup from insurance or any of that. So we're looking to demolish them. The units need to be taken out of the public housing count and then taken offline, as we have that in the pipeline to redevelop that site, which is probably, I think it's slated in the Thrive plan for 2026 or thereabouts, but it's at the end. So at this point, we need to demolish them to ensure that they're not a safety hazard, life and safety hazard to folks. We currently have it fenced around, but you know what happens when they're open, and just crime and other challenges can happen with them remaining that way. So the estimated cost to demolish is about $80,000 from capital funds. It's already budgeted. We had to obtain a letter from the city to support our application. So the city has sent that letter over. So now we can move forward with submitting the application. The homes are irreparable, uninhabitable, and so we need to demolish them for life and safety issues at the site. So the resolution, if you can go down to that, is asking resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority of Birmingham District, that President and CEO is authorized to submit an application to HUD Special Assistance Center for the demolition of 8 fire damage units at Ralph Kimbrough Homes. And the authority has determined that these 8 units located at Ralph Kimbrough Homes are uninhabitable and not feasible for to rehabilitate due to fire.
Any questions?
Once it's approved, will we have to then procure a company to actually do the demolition?
Yes.
No other questions?
And we might roll it into the MDA, like as we've been doing with when it's time to.
I'll entertain, hearing no other thoughts, I'll entertain a motion to approve the authorization of the Housing Authority to submit a demolition application for the 8 fire damage units at Ralph Kimbrough Homes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. The second item is approval authorizing a development agreement and a pre-development loan agreement with Gorman and Company, Inc. And I want to take this opportunity to introduce to you representatives of the Gorman Company. So I want to introduce you Dr. Will Towns, who is the National Market President for Gorman Company, and Kat Byrne, who is also with Gorman, and she's our architect, one of the lead architects for our project. So they wanted to come down. Yes, they've been here since yesterday. yeah, I know, thank you. But one's from Colorado, Cass from Colorado, and Mr. Dr. Townsend from Chicago. So they kind of used to
Oh,
this.
okay.
They're like, where's everybody? We've toured sites that we liked, showed them what we liked, and also toured Marks Village and try to introduce them to folks. Unfortunately, a lot of people are out due to the weather, but they've been here kind of brainstorming. So the resolution is to approve the master development agreement and pre-development loan agreement with the Gorman and Company for the redevelopment of Marks Village, to authorize the president and CEO to execute these agreements. Too fast, but anyway, we submitted the RFQ back in 2021 for development partners for this project. We selected the Gorman and Company to redevelop Marks Village and to develop other sites to be identified in the future by the authority and the developer. The board approved business terms which will govern this agreement, but we're here before you today to talk about some items that were updated. And also we're adding in the demolition of 200 units in the environmental soil remediation to this agreement. So the purpose of the request is to obtain approval of the development agreement and the pre-development loan agreement with Gorman and Company, Inc. for the redevelopment of Marks Village, and to authorize the president and CEO to execute these agreements. The economic impact, the project is going to be approximately 113 million, but obviously we will know more about that as we go into the pre-development. The pre-development loan is for $500,000 in capital funds to help with the pre-development expenses. And you have reviewed we have a development agreement and a pre-development loan agreement for your review. The resolution to resolve that the Board of Commission of the Housing Authority of the Birmingham District authorize the president and CEO to execute a development agreement and a pre-development loan agreement with Gorman and Company, Inc. for the redevelopment of Marks Village in a final legal format as approved by the Real Estate Legal Counsel.
Commissioners, any questions? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve and authorize a development agreement and pre-development loan agreement with Gorman and Company, Inc.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And
Any
last but
opposed? Passes.
Thank you, Commissioners. And last but not least, the next item is approval authorizing the Housing Authority to enter into a master ground lease with Southside Development Company, LLC. The purpose of this request is to obtain board approval of the master ground lease with Southside Development Corp. For the commercial redevelopment of blocks A, B, and C, which are phase 2 of Southtown Courts, and to authorize President and CEO to execute the agreement and subsequent leases. So just to go into a little bit about the ground lease, you know, we've been talking about this for some time, going through the negotiations with the development team to get a ground lease in place, which is a 99-year financeable ground lease, which they will have the opportunity to sublet to other developers for different parcels of that. We're able to then recoup the value of each parcel as they close on each phase of financing of that commercial parcel. Over time, the appraised value, this is something I forgot to mention, that the appraised value will escalate 1.75. Initially, it was one flat value, but it will escalate at 1.75% every 12 months. The highest best use calls for commercial development. At this time, it's proposed for different options such as a hotel, office space, lab space, and market rate housing, as well as affordable housing, which they've committed to under the MDA. The ground lease affirms certain terms of the MDA and amends and changes following terms, such as the ground lease term, the annual amount. The tenants, as I mentioned, SCC is given the right to sublet any part of this property. And at the execution of each phase, we'll be paid a proportionate share of the land value. It affirms the lot size. It's 21 acres to dispose at fair market value of 25.81 cents per square feet. It amends the formula. Next one. It amends the formula and description of the 450 special development fee to be paid at each closing. It defines the financeable ground lease for each sublease. It provides a framework for the comprehensive redevelopment plan and a mechanism for approval of any substantial deviation. Removes the ALDOT parcel from the MDA and allows SCC to negotiate and directly pay ALDOT. It maintains the commitment to affordable housing agreed to in the MDA and provides the terms for creation of additional affordable housing in the commercial component, creates a robust residence benefit plan and builds upon the terms of the NDA and adds a developer commitment of $50,000 per each closing. It outlines the remaining site work to be performed by the contractor selected by SDC and approved by HABD, including an agreement for demolition of Site A after the completion of both the family and senior developments. It defines the land recapture and reversion language in the event that SDC does not commence on development within 4 years of signing the ground lease in each subsequent lease. And then it outlines the monthly reporting notification approval protocols. No policy impact. Capital funds will be used for the work that needs to be done in terms of the site work and the development work. And we talked about the land value you were provided ground lease, resident benefits, comprehensive redevelopment plan, and the project schedule and phasing for your review. The resolution to approve the housing authority to enter into a master ground lease with Southside Development LLC reads as follows. Resolved by the Board of Commissioners by the Housing Authority of the Birmingham District, authorize the president and CEO to enter into a master ground lease with Southside Development Company LLC for the redevelopment of Southtown and to execute all necessary documents to effectuate said agreement, including subsequent tenant leases in a final legal format as approved by the Real Estate Legal Counsel.
Any questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve and authorize the housing authority to enter into a master ground lease with Southside Development Company LLC. So move.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
They have Farrington, right? Oh,
No.
never mind. That's not you.
Coming right behind. Good afternoon again.
Afternoon.
Purpose of this board action is the approval of the transfer for Farrington Manor from Arlington Property to the Housing Authority of Birmingham District. Purpose of this board action is to obtain board approval to proceed with entering into not only a note between the Housing Authority of the Birmingham District and Arlington Property to acquire Arlington's general interest in the above stated property. The terms of the note are as follows. Principal amount is $591,903. The term is for 12 months and the interest rate is absolutely none, is 0%. Description. As a condition of closing the transaction, the Housing Authority agreed to have its related nonprofit affiliate assume their general partner interest upon completion of the construction, renovations, and stabilization, which will result in forgiveness of the existing mortgage debt of approximately $2.8 million. As noted above, the rehabilitation construction was completed around December 2020, and the property reached its level of stabilization around December 2022. HUD wanted to see the transfer completed by December 2023 or risk the cancellation of the debt forgiveness. An additional condition to which HUD agreed to at the time was that the deferred developer fee and or general partnership loans would be paid to Arlington at the time of the exit. The transfer of the GP interest in HABD's affiliate required approval of the low-income housing tax credit investor, which is Raymond James, the Alabama Housing Finance Authority, AHFA. At that, all those approvals have been resolved, including the approval of the transfer documents. HUD is waiting for the submission of documents demonstrating that the GP transfer has in fact occurred. The economic impact, the cost of HABD to complete the required transfer, is outlined in the table that you see here. General partnership loans make up a good part of it, $496,000, with the remaining closing cost that brings the total amount to $591,903. The proceeds on how we will be able to pay for this amount are going to be from the property operations and the deferred note internally. And so the resolution that you have in front of you is by the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority of the Birmingham District, that the President and CEO is authorized to execute the required documents for approval of the final general partner transfer of ownership of the Farrington Manor property. And then let it be also further resolved that the president CEO is authorized to execute the note between Arlington and the Housing Authority of Birmingham District.
Commissioners, any questions?
No.
Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve that the CEO is authorized to execute the required documents for approval of the final general partner transfer of ownership of the Farrington Manor property, as well as authorized to execute the note between Arlington and the Housing Authority of the Birmingham District.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. All right. It appears we have no one who desires to speak before us today, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting's adjourned.